Hey everybody, it's Merrill. We're going to start this video off with some really big news. If you purchase something from KellyCo, use my code NYC. That's pretty easy to remember, and you do not have to pay shipping. Hey everybody, it's Merrill, and I want to make sure to drive home the point. This is not a tutorial. This is madness. A nincompoop's first experience with metal detecting caviar.
Oh my God, I'm arguably dumb. You're about to see it in its full glory. Hopefully Jeff can help with this.
What you will see in this video is my honest first impression of the Minelab CTX 3030 metal detector, an arguably legendary machine. You're going to see me bumble around in this video. There's no question about it. Just to prepare you, there's no great finds. Hi, my name is Merrill, and I'm interrupting from the future, which is now the past because you're watching this, but we had a decent find. Anyway, keep talking. One thing I'll tell you right off the bat is you can't gauge a metal detector after a first use. You can't. Bare minimum, you need 50 hours. And that might be too short of a time. But what this video will simulate for you is if you're going to be a new user to the CTX, if you're considering this for your arsenal, you might go through the same learning curve. You might have the same questions. So we'll make this interesting. Let's go.
KellyCo just lent me the CTX, and I knew it took a lot of effort on their part to get it to me. So I want to do a good review, and I want to start reviewing it.
The end product that I'm aiming for is a complete review of the CTX, all of its features, how it stacks up versus other detectors that are on the market. It is still being sold, but it has been sold, I believe, since 2014. How does it stack up versus more recent machines?
Problem is, I'm struggling to put the coil on, the bottom part of the coil. Oh, you'll see. I'm sure it's something very small and that I've not quite figured out. We're bringing it to Jeff. Jeff is really handy. Yeah, I'm kind of dumb in that regard. I could come up with the song in like 0.2 seconds, but yeah, this is not the Merrill area of aptitude. But I'm excited to use the CTX. What is this guy doing? What is he doing? He's getting in the way of me and my CTX. Sweet mother of pearl.
You might be like, oh God, let me click the next video now. I'll make up for this.
Yeah, okay.
Thank God, smart people. I don't got it.
This has got to be a way for this whole thing to slide off. I've never seen this before, but I'm just assuming. And there it is. Okay.
Whoa. That's like a flex capacitor.
Yeah, it's what makes time travel possible. I don't know if you
Makes
know that.
time travel possible. That's freaking Doc Brown shit right there.
Okay, let's see what we come on, baby.
Oh my God, he's smart. Oh, I see. That goes through here and in here. Whoa.
Yepper. That's gonna go there.
I don't get it. This I've done with the string. You know, you put a string on one end, roll it through, and
It's most likely what we're gonna have to do if, or might have to go that route.
let me see if I have string. Got everything else in my trunk. Let's see. Dear God. Yeah, I did have string here though. Hold on.
You know, line it up.
He didn't even need it. He's a maniac. He's a maniac, folks.
He's a maniac on the floor. And he's dancing like he's never danced
I've heard
before.
you're a legendary dancer. Is that true?
Well, Depends on how much libation has been passed around.
So, if you stuck around this long, I want to tell you that there are actually parts to this video. If you go down to the video description, you're going to see times that each part begins. So if you have questions on the CTX, it's going to be carefully organized like that. I am probably going to get things slower in terms of the connecting than Jeff, but this is where I can really add to a video. I can organize the information and teach it, and I'm humble enough to lean on my friends where I need some help.
There's only one way it goes in.
Yeah, and it makes it crooked.
This is true.
That's what I couldn't get past.
We're getting shafted.
We're getting shafted. We are, because this does not. See, look at this. You put this in, and that is crooked.
Unless you want to do the side of a building.
Right, exactly. We'd be phenomenal with that, but.
Yay! You got to go in the groove and then turn it and twist it. We're good.
Oh snap! Okay, there you go. Yeah, Jeff.
I've been redeemed.
You've been. What you? Please, I'm the one that.
Well,
let's see. Oh snap!
And in this case, life lesson: bad is good.
Whoa!
Overload. Bad is bad.
It's the truck.
Oh.
Whoa!
It looks like you have almost a full battery.
Oh snap! Oh, this is heavy. Jeez.
Well, maybe you'll get those biceps you've always wanted.
I'm a little old for that, but let's.
Regarding the weight, and I could say this conclusively, I have swung it enough at this point to speak on this. When you pick it up, you're going to be like, OMG. But it's very top heavy, and you really don't feel it. That's the thing. Because it's top heavy, because it's that coil that's not 1,000,000 pounds weighing it down, you don't feel it as much when you swing it.
29.44 inches. Whoa. We're in the future. Okay, Merrill, close your truck. All right, we're doing a noise cancel.
Was I just pushing buttons at this point? Honestly, yes.
And my hope is that, I mean, I have the E-Trac. I'm seeing some familiar stuff here.
So both the E-Trac and the CTX operate on the same notch system, or to my knowledge at this point, the same notch system, where it is set up somewhat on a map based on conductivity and iron characteristics. So you've seen me use the E-Trac before, and it gives you two numbers, as does the CTX. The first number is the Ferris number. Oh my God, a Ferris wheel is an iron wheel. Oh my God. Or the amount of iron that is in a target or sensed in the ground at the moment that you're sweeping over. And then there's the conductivity number. And generally speaking, just like with other target IDs and other detectors, the more conductive targets like silver, they're going to be higher numbers. But the great thing about having two numbers is it helps you infer, okay, this could be a big piece of iron that's right here. Because how many times we're swinging the Equinox and we hear that great sounding, it sounds like a high silver signal, but it turns out to be a piece of iron. You get this additional information by getting a iron number in the target.
Let's take a look. Coins. Yeah, that sounds good. Select.
Oh, that guy fumbling around is a little bit painful, I know. I have already started talking to CTX 3030 users, and the vast majority of them recommend going in all metal mode. In other words, running a program that is pretty much all metal by definition is completely open. I'm seeing that you can get, I saw with the E-Trac that you could get falsing with certain numbers and certain ground conditions. When I really mastered the E-Trac, I was able to run a very high auto sensitivity and essentially notch out where the chatter was. For instance, when I was running the E-Trac, I had this top line just notched out. And I might do something like this in time, but it was a real struggle to get to this screen, as you will see very soon.
Let's press on the earth. That's probably the GPS.
I have to say I'm geeking out about the map screen because I'm somebody with a terrible sense of direction. And what that can show you is where you have been. And that's something that can be very helpful. And I want to see, I mean, the scale, how much of a scale can you see over, where you swung over every target? I don't know. But that's one of the things that in time we're aiming to figure out. Having that said, Prospect Park has taught me that you can go over the same ground, and with the process of subtraction, taking targets out of the ground, you could get a different result on a given day. I know that there's other factors, but I call this the Minesweeper phenomenon. Remember that video game, Minesweeper? All the cool kids played Minesweeper. With the numbers and the bombs, and you have to kind of like push the different parts in order to reveal more of the board. Metal detecting in the ground is just like Minesweeper. You take something out, you get more information, and you might be tuned into a deeper level. Now, there's more factors than just the Minesweeper analogy that I threw at you. The ground gets more conductive when it's wet. I've really started to tune in recently about how being close to others with cell phones really throws off the signal. So there is external factors like that. The length of the grass. What pushes your coil up? The grass does. But my overall point on this tangent is you could come back to productive ground on another given day and get a totally different result. It's wild. It's metal detecting. It's a metal detecting reality.
Because I know it's got a GPS. What is this? Oh.
Now the detect screen plane is pretty wild. You could actually see the targets and see the notch at the same time. And you could actually lift the notch and go all metal mode. But long story short, the blue area is what you have notched out, and you can see where the target falls. And it's like a XY coordinate plane or a portion of that. And you have the conductivity and you have the iron characteristics, and it falls somewhere that it is not notched out. It's pretty wild.
Look at all these colors. Interesting detector. I'm gonna have to pick some people's brains. Yes, read the book. I want to use it before I read about it.
Still at Rootville.
Suppose I should dig something, right? You're in Rootville? Actually, it's a baseball field. It's Babe Ruthville. Ha! Where to begin? Auto level. This is familiar with the E-Trac +2.
In terms of depth, I didn't really get anywhere with the E-Trac until I went to manual sensitivity and took the auto sensitivity off.
Now, where's my plus and minus? Okay, +3 we could go. All right, so sensitivity, we got volume here, volume gain.
So here's the definition of volume gain. Volume gain controls the amplification of a target's audio response relative to the target's signal strength. This audio setting is most similar to volume adjustments in other devices in other words, radio or television volume controls. With a setting of 1, the target signal will not be amplified. Here's the important part. Weak targets will sound quiet, medium target signals will sound mid-range, and strong target signals will sound loud. There will be greater differentiation between target signal strengths, however, weak signals will be harder to hear. With a setting of 30, all target signals will be amplified to a loud audio response. At this setting, there will be less differentiation between medium and strong signals, but weak target signals will be easier to hear. I want to be able to hear the weak target signals, but I want that differentiation so that I don't always have to look at the screen. I would say somewhere between 20 and 25 is where I should have put it.
Ground balancing, raise and lower the coil over the ground. And it's singing some jazz music. It sings nice jazz music as you ground balance. I know you're not seeing too much right now, but we will get the hang of this, folks, I promise you. I like how it tells you 3-inch, 4-inch. All right, I'll get back when I get a signal that is a little deeper. Now, I did do some reading here. You see the colors there? I remember red being good, if I remember correctly.
You remembered incorrectly. The color coding signifies signal strength.
And is the pinpoint over here?
The guy that you were seeing detecting, he just got out of work. He was dying to use this new machine that's on Lind from KellyCo. And he didn't do enough reading at that point. Let me show you where the pinpoint is. Activate pinpoint by holding the trigger from the detect or map screens. And the pinpoint trigger is on the back.
No. Create find point. GPS not enabled. Okay. Where is pinpoint? Where's pinpoint?
In my day, before metal detecting, we would read the entire instruction book 5 times and take a test. Nonsense.
Okay, let's dig. Let's see. Our first signal with the CTX is filler yunk. Yeah, these numbers feel familiar because of the E-Trac. It's a quarter. Oh snap, we just unlocked something.
Behold, I have found a key! Therefore, cheesecake has been unlocked.
So I'm having the same problem with this that I initially had with the E-Trac. In that I can't get stuff over 6 inches. And we fixed that in time with the E-Trac. Hopefully it's the same with this. It's a quarter. 33 6 inches. Interesting, I got iron. Let's see what the response is with this. I'm not seeing any color. I probably have this notched out. That's probably why. It probably has another pattern screen, and I just have to figure out how to navigate that and open it. But I didn't recall what the what was it?
Pottery.
You got pottery?
Yeah.
Nice. Don't recall what the ring up was.
So I looked back on the ring up, and I see that there was not a high iron number. I think that means I left something behind.
All right, somebody was telling me about Silver Mode. Let's try Silver Mode. Select.
Manual does not go a lot into Silver Mode, but this seems to be the combination of factors. 50 tone ID, conductive, normal response. You can vary the response so that you can hear the sound a little bit more, but that's a whole nother story. Target separation, high trash, pinpoint normal. So it really does not elaborate too much on Silver Mode.
Kind of means nothing in that I have not researched it yet. But I have a feeling I'm going to jump into my video and tell you what Silver Mode, what you're supposed to look for.
You're supposed to look for silver in Silver Mode?
Okay, this is familiar too from the E-Trac. I'm guessing that these on the bottom is the sensitivity, and it's on auto sensitivity now. Not quite sure how to turn off auto sensitivity.
Yeah, I was able to figure this one out on my own. Basically, you have to hold down the sensitivity button. If you press it quick, you get a different response than if you hold it down. But if you want to switch to manual sensitivity, you have to press and hold.
Right now, I could like insult it and it'll be like, I don't care, I'm impermeable. It's an SAT word. I need it to be more sensitive so that when it hears deep silver, it'll cry. Cry like a baby. I cry like a baby. It's okay. Yeah, we got to figure out how to get into the E-Trac settings, and it's more than just here, because you go up and down on this thing. And no, I don't want high trash, no. Alright, let's... No, not delete. Select. Okay, go back to silver. Select. Okay, now let's see what the different buttons do. Pushing this one, the globe, got the whole world in my hand. Oh, here we go. So that's interesting. Hold it down and it gets you this: clear geotrail, view geotrail, recenter, show names.
If I had wanted to track my steps and my swings on that given day, that would have been the interface that I used. But you learn to walk before you learn to run, and you learn to run before you learn to track your steps.
Interesting. So maybe there's something to holding it down. So let's hold this one down. Still goes to the same thing. Come on, man. Let's see, try editing. Here we go. Pattern 1, pattern 2. Tone ID profile. There we go. Recovery fast, recovery deep. Now we're getting somewhere. Target separation, high pinpoint. This is I'm remembering this from my E-Trac.
This is most definitely the little brother, little sister of the E-Trac. And, you know, it's got more bells and whistles. There's no questions about that. How they have it organized, it's confusing at this point. But then again, if you try any new detector, there's going to be a learning curve.
Response normal. I like that. Tone ID profile. Now I want to get the auto sensitivity off. That's what I want. Maybe the rest of the stuff looks okay. Now let's hold down this button. Sensitivity. Ah, here we go. Sensitivity type auto. Oh, hell no. No. Manual. Manual level, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's a little crazy. Yeah, let's do 27.
One thing that I am extremely appreciative of with the Minelab Equinox is, with the exception of areas that have a lot of EMI, I could run the sensitivity full blast and have no issues. It is totally calibrated. It took me a while, and with the intervention of a friend, to get there, but it's really amazing with that when that thing is locked in. Can we get this detector as locked in? That's the question in my mind.
And let's also, can we look at the mask? I think I'll get this pretty fast. So let's go silver. And it's not letting me edit. Select.
Now, you might remember that I lent my E-Trac to Philip the Knox, and he borrowed it for a few months. He tried many different things. He was never able to replicate the success of the Minelab Equinox. It's the same successes that he had with the Minelab Equinox.
Edit. Now it's letting me edit. Here we go. Pattern 1 and pattern 2. And that looks... Now where's the plus and minus buttons? They had that on the side of this one. This is going to be a doozy. Ah, there we go. It's the check button. Let's open this up.
Now take a close look at this. Over here is the notch. What I'm trying to do is open this up. And it is not as easy as it is on the E-Trac. And it's not easy on the E-Trac. Right here, this is tough. I think it's made for PC computers. I have a very old PC that I haven't turned on in a long time. I usually use my Mac. But this was a really tough task, because if you do not open this up, you're not going to get maximum depth. We have a lot notched out, and I'm telling you, I have gotten silver down here. So you have to open this up.
Oops. I remember this from E-Trac land. Oops. I just naturally pushed the wrong button. Alright, so we're opening this up. Okay, let's try with disk. Alright, I get it. So with the E-Trac, what I had to do was open up the pattern. In other words, open up what is notched out and what is accepted. And of course, it gives you a very conservative pattern. One that beginner detectorists will not be, become frustrated with, because you're not going to get a lot of garbage. But the thing is, you might not get a lot of garbage, but you're also not going to get those deep signals. So what we had to do was open up that pattern, and that's what we did. Now let's see what she can do. I think I went with the totally open pattern, in other words, all metal mode. So 35, that would have been the amount of ferrous. That's going to be a piece of iron, most probably. Seems to have better separation than the E-Trac, and that's very important. There's depth and there's separation. Let's go back to that pattern and see if we can mix it up a little bit.
I want to reiterate that point. To me, the two most important elements that a detector could have, and they equate to clarity, are depth and separation. The ability to go deep, the ability to separate targets. This is especially important in a place like New York City, because we are a huge city that gets a lot of volume of people in our parks, on our beaches, and if you don't have a machine that can separate, you're kind of out of luck. Depth is irrelevant. So if you don't have those two elements and a clarity to them, that's not going to be a very good detector. The best I've ever tried, as many of you may know, is the Minelab Equinox. But we're just getting started with the CTX.
Saw that it said 9 inches. I don't like that it goes away after a while. And I sure as hell don't know how to pinpoint on this thing. Hmm. 35 you don't want to touch. lot of iron here. And the easy way to get rid of that is to notch out those high numbers. On the E-Trac, I would notch it out to like 24 or so. Because right now it's getting everything, and that's not good.
Let me contradict myself, because you've often heard me say I want to hear everything. But I sensed that a lot of those signals that I was getting there were falses.
Now this makes no sense to me. I'm trying to adjust the pattern. There's edit type, auto accept, auto reject. Okay, and then there's accept all and reject all. Let's press accept all.
Basically, you're in all metal mode if you press accept all, but you're expected to kind of build the notch from there. That's what I couldn't figure out right there.
But now, I can't move it around. Save pattern? No, because the arrows are not letting me move it around. Okay, we don't want that. I know it's familiarity with the machine, and this is something you really need to do when you are at home. But in terms of ease of use, is this a detector that you would want as a first detector? I don't know. Tone ID profile, geez. Profile type. Ooh. 50 conductive tones. This is a PhD detector right here. And navigating the screen is not easy. Sure, let's create a fine point. Why the hell not? Oh, that's why not. I have no doubt I'll get used to this. God, noise cancel button, great. Noise cancel, ground balance, sensitivity, volume, and it's a book. They put a book in the middle. And you got the whole world in your hand over here. This is the one that should let you, what I'm trying to get to. Press this down. Jeez. Recenter, show names. Let's recenter. Excellent. Now, tone ID profile, recovery fast, recovery deep. C, nope. Up, 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 up. What we want to do is set the patterns. I'm fine once we set the darn patterns. Where did it go? High trash, no. Okay, silver, now. Edit. Oh boy. Okay, I got a pattern here. You see that line that goes through? That is what is not notched out. Now, how do I get it? You see the arrows here? How do I get it so that I can move the arrows? I had it before. Oh, the pinpoint button's on the back. You dummy. Dummy. Great. Okay, well, we got the pinpoint button at least. Oh, and it also helps you select. I see. Okay. Select. Yeah, the problem with this is it's very tough to make patterns. Alright, so pattern 1. Let's go pattern 2. Now. No clue. No clue how to adjust the pattern, which means we're hunting in all metal mode right now. So, a little annoying, but we'll get it.
Now, you could fault me, and perhaps correctly, for not reading the entire book before I went out. And I know some of the comments will be just that, but I find that I learn better when I try something first and then go back to the book. That is just what I did. Here is round 2.
All right, technically this is the second time that I've used the CTX, but I'm at Ferry Point Park, which is the ultimate target separation park in New York City, just because there's so many bottle caps. And I'm not quite up to testing the separation. That's more of a challenge than testing depth, I think. But what I'm gonna do, the last time that I was out, I couldn't get a signal that was deeper than 6 inches. Could that be because there just were no signals that were deeper than 6 inches? Yes, but this time I'm going to totally open up the mask and we're going to see what we can get. Okay, I just figured something out. This button puts on a mask, takes off a mask. So you could have it in high trash mode, and then you could go to essentially 0, you know, where nothing is notched out. I'm going to actually keep it in that unnotched out mode, you know, totally open. Let's see what we get. The sensitivity is at 19. We're going to have to do something about that. So let's push that. Let's set it to manual. Bad idea. Oh man. Yeah, this is going to take some time to get used to. We're going back to auto. Got another target, 4 inches. I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything that is really more than, you know, 4 to 6 inches. But let's dig it. Well, 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 we have a dimmy. This is saying 6 inches. 1638, let's dig. That's the max that I've gotten. All right, this wasn't even 6 inches down. This was in the side of the hole. Now the good news on this, although we have not unlocked the depth, is the separation. Separation seems to be fine on it. And you get a more sophisticated notch. But I sure would like to see some deep signals pulled with this. And I've gone through some of the settings. The sensitivity is up to 21 right now. And I don't dare jack it up past auto yet. I mean, we're going there in the future, but I have to stabilize it a little bit more. It does have a deep setting. So silver, let's see if we could go into the settings and edit. And down here we have recovery fast checked off and recovery deep checked off. So we do have that. That's similar to the E-Trac. Although that setting barely made a difference to me on the E-Trac. And we're going with a mask that's totally open. So I don't... This is different than the E-Trac because when the mask was open, and the sensitivity, of course, that's probably the difference right there. So let's try that actually. Let me go back. And sensitivity, we're going to go back to manual. Oops. So manual, and we're going to adjust that. All right, 27 might be a little much. Let's go down to 25. Nope, 25. Good. Granted, I'm in a very trashy area, but even with the sensitivity as it is, I'm not getting anything above 5 inches. Yeah, let's get to a less trashy area. Yeah, here's an example of some of the trash that's here. For the record, I have it in high trash mode now, and you know what? Let's actually end our experiment. Oops. Turn that back up. Oop. Sensitivity type, we're going to put back to auto. Instead of trying to figure out what's wrong here, let's actually dig some signals. Let's make it a hunt. Let's try to get some silver. 1977 penny. Oh, egad, we are on the wheat. Cool. Okay, here's the problem. It was a whisper, and it's like 6 inches down. Faint signal. Let's see what we got. Oh, geez. That was a very deep, the deepest signal of the... Okay, let's give it some credit right there. Never mind. That was a 9-incher. Okay. Whole pinpointer down. Let's give it some credit. Very faint, though. Damn it. 1960s Memorial. Alright, if this is anything like the E-Trac, so that 1145, now it's showing more iron. 2247. This one is a shot at silver. Good news is this is below the plug. Let's see. It's a legit deep signal. What? What is this? You never know what you're going to get metal detecting. I think this is an old cup. And look at the color on it. Is that silver? I mean, they used to call the stuff silverware. I see a USA. Look at that. Well, we got something interesting at least. That crack was there before. And that might say Ford. So this might be a Ford part. Wow.
Alright, so we're going to cut the video right there because all I found after that was just some clad and some junk in the field. I would say overall my first impression is, yes, it's got better target separation than the E-Trac, not the Equinox. I can't see that yet. But again, I'm a lot more familiar with the Equinox. So, in fairness, it's like thousands of hours versus 1 hour, I suppose, at this point. In regards to depth, I'm not really seeing the deeper signals, and this is known as a deep machine. So I think that this is user error on my part. This weekend, I plan to lend this detector to the best tester that I know, Philip the Knox, and if somebody is going to get that answered, it's him. So we will see what he has to say. Let him, turn his gears a little bit with that, and we'll see what we come up with. But I'm not done with this detector by any means. It is too early to tell the capabilities of it. The other thing that I would like to do, I'm going to put my email address right here. I would like to have a round table discussion. And I would like you to email me if you would like to participate in this round table discussion. We might not be at a round table, but, online. And I want this to be a live stream. And I find that the best way to learn is to get a little bit of knowledge, and I'm just at that point right now, and then really start picking the brains of experts. So my email address is right here, and we'll set up that live stream. If you have experience with the CTX, be sure to email me. So that's it for now. And again, we're trying to answer, how does the CTX 3030 stand up to other detectors, more modern detectors, detectors that have been released since then? And we're going to get to the bottom of this, so be sure to stick around. If this piques your interest, hit that subscribe button, and I would appreciate it if you hit the like button. Thank you for watching.